Hi everyone, Dr. Sophie Hale here. Most people think aging is just something that happens to us. You get older, your energy drops, your body slows down, your skin changes, your recovery gets worse, and that's just the way life goes. And yes, we are all aging every single day. That part is true. But here's the part most people never hear clearly enough. Aging is not just about how many birthdays you've had. Aging is also about what is happening inside your cells right now. It's about wear and tear, repair and recovery, inflammation and resilience, damage and defense. And that means the choices you make every single day can influence how well your body holds up over time. One of the biggest factors in this whole conversation is your DNA. Now, when people hear DNA, they usually think of genetics, eye color, family traits, things you were born with. But your DNA is more than a blueprint. It is the instruction manual your cells use every minute of every day to build proteins, repair tissues, control metabolism, regulate inflammation, and keep you alive and functioning. The problem is that your DNA is under attack all the time. That sounds dramatic, but it's true. Normal metabolism creates oxidative stress. Poor sleep increases stress hormones. Blood sugar spikes can make damage worse. Pollution, smoking, excess ultraviolet exposure, chronic inflammation, and even just the passage of time all create pressure on your cells. Your body has built-in repair systems to handle this. That's the good news. But those systems need support. And as we age, they don't always work as efficiently as they used to. So here's the big question. Can food actually help? Yes. Not in a magical way, not in a fantasy eat this and become 25 again way, but in a real biological way. Food can help support the systems that protect your DNA, reduce oxidative stress, lower inflammation, and improve the environment your cells live in. And there is one group of foods in particular that deserves a lot more attention: cruciferous vegetables. And if I had to narrow it down even more, the all-star in this category would be broccoli sprouts. That may not sound glamorous, it's not exotic, it's not expensive. It's not a celebrity supplement, it's not some futuristic powder in a silver pouch, it's food, simple food. But inside that food is a natural compound that has gotten a lot of scientific attention for a very good reason. That compound is called sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is formed from natural compounds in cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, broccoli sprouts, Brussels sprouts, kale, cabbage, cauliflower, arugula, bok choy, and radishes. But broccoli sprouts are especially interesting because they can contain very high levels of the precursor that forms sulforaphane. Why does that matter? Because sulforaphane helps activate one of the body's most important protective systems, a pathway called NRF2. Let me make that simple. Think of NRF2 like a master switch for your internal defense team. When that switch turns on, your body ramps up a whole network of protective enzymes. These enzymes help neutralize harmful compounds, improve detoxification, defend against oxidative stress, and support cellular resilience. In plain English, this means your cells become better equipped to protect themselves. And that matters for DNA, because a lot of DNA damage doesn't happen from one dramatic event. It happens quietly. A little oxidative stress here, a little inflammation there, a little cellular chaos repeated over and over for years. That's how small problems can become bigger ones. So when you eat foods that help your body strengthen its own defense systems, you are not beating aging in some cheesy marketing sense. You are helping your biology do what it was designed to do. Repair, protect, recover, adapt. That is the real anti-aging conversation. Now, I want to be careful with the phrase repair DNA, because I think people deserve honest language. Food does not act like a mechanic in a garage, reaching in with a wrench and directly fixing every broken piece. Your body repairs DNA. Your cells do that. Your enzymes do that. Your repair pathways do that. What food can do is support the environment and the signaling that help those systems work better. That is a big difference, and it is a very important one. So when we talk about a food helping repair DNA, what we really mean is that it may support the body's own protective and repair mechanisms, reduce the burden of oxidative damage, and improve the conditions that allow healthy cellular maintenance to happen. That's still powerful. In fact, it's more powerful because it's real. Now let's talk about why cruciferous vegetables may have such an outsized effect. These vegetables don't just bring vitamins and fiber to the table, they also contain plant compounds that act like biological messengers. They tell your body something, they send a signal, and one of the signals they help send is this: gear up your defense system. That's what makes them different from just thinking in terms of calories, because your body is always listening. Every meal you eat tells your body something about abundance, stress, inflammation, repair, storage, recovery, and energy use. Food is information as much as it is fuel, and when you regularly eat foods that promote protective pathways, over time that can shape how resilient your cells become. So what does this mean in practical terms? It means that adding cruciferous vegetables to your routine is not just about eating your veggies, it is about giving your cells better instructions. Broccoli sprouts are one of the easiest places to start. They're peppery, fresh, easy to toss into salads, sandwiches, wraps, bowls, and eggs. And because they are young sprouts, they can be especially rich in the compounds that lead to sulforaphane formation. Regular broccoli is also great. Brussels sprouts are great. Cabbage is great. Cauliflower is great. Arugula is great. This is not an all-or-nothing game. You do not need to obsess over one perfect food, but if there is one category to make more room for, this is a smart one. And here's another helpful detail. How you prepare these foods can matter. Some of the compounds involved in making sulforaphane depend on an enzyme called myrosinase. Chopping, chewing, and lightly preparing these vegetables can help that process along. In general, gentle cooking tends to preserve more of that benefit than blasting them into mush. If you steam broccoli lightly, that can be a very reasonable middle ground. If you overcook it heavily, you may lose some of what makes it special. So simple is better. Light steam, quick sauté, raw sprouts, fresh chopped cabbage, arugula in a salad. Roasted Brussels sprouts that still have texture, nothing fancy, just consistency. Now, does that mean cruciferous vegetables are the only food that matters for DNA protection and healthy aging? Not even close. They may be the headline, but they are part of a whole support team. Let's talk about the rest of that team. Berries are a big one. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries. These are rich in polyphenols and other plant compounds that help fight oxidative stress and support healthy inflammatory balance. Again, this comes back to the same idea. Less oxidative stress means less pressure on your DNA and your cells. Green tea is another powerful example. Green tea contains catechins, including EGCG, that have been studied for their role in stress resistance and antioxidant defense. It's not magic tea, it's not immortality in a mug. But as a daily habit, it can be part of a pattern that supports healthier aging from the inside out. Extra virgin olive oil deserves attention too, not the fake stuff, real extra virgin olive oil. It contains polyphenols that help protect lipids from oxidation and support a healthier inflammatory environment. When your cells live in a lower inflammation environment, they simply function better. Beans and lentils matter. People underestimate them all the time. They stabilize energy, support the gut microbiome, provide fiber, and help with blood sugar control. And if you care about aging, you should care deeply about blood sugar. Repeated sugar spikes are not doing your cells any favors. The more roller coaster your metabolism becomes, the more stress you put on the body. Nuts and seeds matter too. Walnuts, flax, chia, pumpkin seeds, they bring minerals, healthy fats, and compounds that support cellular health. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines can also help, especially because omega-3 fats are linked to lower inflammation, and lower inflammation is one of the recurring themes in nearly every healthy aging conversation. Notice what all these foods have in common. They are not extreme. They are not weird. They are not a cleanse. They are not a 6-day biohack protocol. They are normal foods that send good signals. That's what healthy aging often looks like in real life. Not a miracle, a pattern. Now let's go deeper into something people often miss. Aging is not just damage. Aging is also lost adaptability. When you're younger, your body tends to bounce back faster. You stay up late, recover. You eat badly for a few days, recover. You exercise hard, recover. You get stressed, recover. As we get older, that bounce-back capacity starts to matter more and more. That resilience is everything. And foods that reduce chronic inflammation, support antioxidant defenses, stabilize metabolism, and improve mitochondrial function all help preserve that resilience. That's why the conversation about anti-aging should really become a conversation about recovery capacity. Can your cells respond well? Can your body handle stress well? Can your tissues repair well? Can your immune system calm back down after activation? Can your mitochondria keep producing energy efficiently? Those are the questions that matter. And yes, the food you eat helps shape the answers. Now, I also want to say something very important here. One food cannot outwork a damaging lifestyle. You cannot eat broccoli sprouts at noon and then ignore sleep, movement, smoking, heavy alcohol use, chronic stress, and ultra-processed food overload and expect your cells to be thrilled about it. That is not how this works. Food helps, but food works best in a system. And the most powerful system for slow, healthy aging is surprisingly unglamorous. Eat protective foods regularly. Move your body daily. Lift weights or challenge your muscles a few times a week. Sleep enough. Control your blood sugar. Get sunlight safely. Manage stress. Avoid toxins where you can. Do the boring things well. That is where the magic actually is. Now let's bring this back to the title. This food can repair DNA and slow aging. The reason that statement grabs people is because deep down, most of us want hope. We want to know that decline is not automatic. We want to know that our daily choices matter. We want to know that we are not powerless. And the truth is, you are not powerless. Your body is not passive. Your cells are not just sitting there waiting to fall apart. They are responding every single day to the environment you create. If you constantly expose them to high stress, poor sleep, heavy processed food, inactivity, and chronic inflammation, they adapt to that environment. If you give them protective foods, stable rhythms, movement, rest, and recovery, they adapt to that too. That's why I love this topic so much. Because healthy aging is not about chasing perfection, it is about changing the direction of your biology. A few more practical tips, because I always want to leave you with something usable. If you want to make cruciferous vegetables part of your life, don't overcomplicate it. Add broccoli sprouts to lunch 3 or 4 times a week. Keep frozen broccoli in the freezer, so you always have a backup. Roast Brussels sprouts with olive oil and a little garlic. Toss cabbage into soups, slaws, and stir-fries. Add arugula to sandwiches and salads. Keep it visible. Keep it easy. If healthy food is hard to reach, you will not eat it consistently. Second, combine these foods with a generally lower inflammatory eating pattern. That means more whole foods, more fiber, more plants, more legumes, more healthy fats, and fewer ultra-processed foods that keep pushing your body toward oxidative stress and inflammation. Third, do not ignore protein and muscle health. If you are aging, muscle is not cosmetic. Muscle is metabolic protection. Muscle helps with insulin sensitivity, stability, mobility, and long-term independence. Healthy aging is not just about living longer, it is about staying capable. Fourth, remember that stress biology matters. You can eat beautifully and still run yourself into the ground with chronic stress and poor sleep. Deep sleep is repair time. That is when a lot of recovery work happens. Respect it. Bonnininu, stop waiting for a perfect Monday. So many people delay healthy change because they think they need a complete life overhaul. You don't. Start with one upgrade. Add one cruciferous vegetable you actually enjoy. Swap one snack for berries and walnuts. Replace one sugary drink with green tea. Take one walk after dinner. Build from there. That's how real change lasts. Not by intensity, by repetition. And that is especially true when it comes to aging, because aging is also repetition. The repeated effects of what you do, the repeated signals you send, the repeated stress you allow, the repeated nourishment you provide. Your future health is not built in one heroic moment, it is built in ordinary days. So if you take one thing from this today, let it be this. Your body already has remarkable systems for defense, repair, and renewal. The goal is not to invent those systems. The goal is to support them. And one of the smartest ways to do that is through the food you eat consistently. Cruciferous vegetables, especially broccoli sprouts, are one of the simplest examples of that principle in action. They help activate protective pathways. They support your internal defense systems. They fit into real life. And they remind us that powerful health tools do not always look dramatic. Sometimes they look like lunch, and that is good news. Because it means healthy aging is not reserved for people with unlimited money, perfect schedules, or elite wellness routines. It can start in an ordinary kitchen, with ordinary habits, and ordinary meals repeated often enough to matter. That is how you change biology. That is how you support your DNA. That is how you slow the kind of aging that comes from chronic damage, chronic inflammation, and chronic overload. Little by little, meal by meal, habit by habit, you give your cells a better place to live. And over time, that matters more than most people realize. I'm Dr. Sophie Hale, and if this helped you think differently about food, aging, and what your body is capable of, stay with me. There is so much more you can do than you've been told. And the best part is, some of the most powerful tools have been sitting on your plate all along.